Okay, join me on page 326 in your science textbook. Follow along. What parts of California lie on different plates? California lies on two lithospheric plates. Most of the state rests on the North American plate, which includes all of North America and part of the Atlantic Ocean. A small part of California rests on the Pacific plate. The Pacific plate consists of the Pacific Ocean and a narrow piece of California west of the North American plate. In California, the North American plate and the Pacific plate slide past each other along a deep crack in Earth's crust called the San Andreas Fault. And the picture on your screen shows where the San Andreas fault runs, and you can see where Bakersfield is in relationship to that fault line. Okay, on to page 327, the San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault begins at a point on the coast north of San Francisco and runs about 1,300 kilometers or 800 miles south into Mexico and the Gulf of California. Its location is marked at the surface by ridges, troughs, offset streams, and mismatched rocks across the fault line. The Pacific plate is slowly but steadily moving northwest along the fault. It moves at an average of about 5 centimeters or 2 inches per year. Sometimes the Pacific plate does not move at all for years. Then suddenly the rocks on both sides of the fault will move as much as several meters or several yards apart. The land west of the San Andreas Fault was once a part of Mexico. Over millions of years, it has moved about 320 kilometers or 200 miles to where it is now. Okay, continue on page 328. What features of California are the result of plate tectonics? California has not always looked the way it does today. Many of the different landforms now visible in California were created by the Pacific plate pushing into the North American plate. Millions of years ago, much of central and southern California was underwater. The western coast of North America ran south from Idaho through eastern California. Valleys and mountains. The Central Valley is an area of low land bordered by the Sierra Nevada to the east and the Coast Ranges to the west. Deep layers of rock that have washed down from the surrounding mountains make up the valley floor. The Central Valley extends for a distance of about 800 kilometers or 500 miles from north to south, and its average width is 64 kilometers or 40 miles. It is the largest valley in California, covering about 1/6 of the state. The Los Angeles Basin is a depression lying between the transverse and the peninsular ranges. The basin is filled with rock material that has washed down from these mountains. The Ventura Basin is a depression in the transverse ranges where thick layers of rock material have accumulated. So now I'm on page 329. Both the Los Angeles Basin and the Ventura Basin are unstable areas where tectonic activity causes frequent earthquakes. The Coast Ranges are a series of narrow, low ridges that rise abruptly from the sea. The ridges are made up of layers of rock that have been lifted up, folded, and deformed. The ridges are separated by valleys. The Klamath Mountains and the Cascade Range lie along California's northern border. Long ago, the Klamath Mountains were an island. The high peaks of the Cascade Range are volcanic mountains. The highest of California's mountain ranges is the Sierra Nevada. Its name comes from the Spanish words meaning jagged or saw-like and snowy. This range extends for about 640 kilometers or 400 miles from north to south in eastern California. The Sierra Nevada was formed when a large block of rock was lifted up and tilted. The east face drops sharply in contrast to the gentle western slope. All right, thanks again for watching and following along. You can continue now in your Google Classroom. See you on the next one.